Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at the top business stories. Almost half of Dubai property projects cancelled, reveals new bond prospectus. Rail project across the UAE on track, say officials. And we find out how intellectual property laws hope to protect trademark owners in the UAE. The GCC, as well as the UAE markets, ended lower this Tuesday, taking its cues from Asian bourses, where shares fell in today's trading. The DFM fell 0.5% to close at 1,690 points. Shares at MR Properties were down nearly 1%. Arab Tech also lost 1%. Dubai Islamic Bank reversed Monday's losses, falling nearly 2%. DU was down nearly 1%. Shares at Drake and Skull International were down 1%, and the company announced it has been awarded an 85 million dirham project in Syria. $83 million shares were traded, valued at 145 million dirhams. The ADX fell marginally to close at 2,660 points. The real estate sector was down today. Aldar Properties and RAK Properties, as well as Suru Real Estate, lost 2.5%. Dana Gas fell 1.25%. Etisalat gained 0.5%, and 44 million shares were traded, valued at 99 million dirhams. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and ruler of Dubai, has said that the Emirate is recovering. In an interview with Bloomberg, His Highness said that the Emirate is back on track after Dubai World reached a debt reconstructuring settlement with creditors. Rail experts from around the region met today to discuss the very ambitious GCC railway network. Officials also highlighted the work on the UAE's Union Rail project as countries across the region begin to consider rail as a viable solution for freight and passenger transportation. June Wrigley reports.
The 6 Gulf states envision a rail network extending well beyond their national borders from Kuwait to Oman at an estimated cost of $20 billion by 2017. Specifically in the UAE, the ambitious $11 billion Union Railway projects is in the planning stages of a 1,500-kilometer freight and passenger rail network. Richard Boker, CEO of Union Railways, explains.
There are real strategic benefits. It allows, there's big significant environmental benefits because obviously trains are less polluting than the trucks. Big safety benefits because we can keep heavy goods off the roads and onto the railways. And big economic benefits as well because for certain kinds of traffic, railways are a very efficient mode of transport.
As GCC countries are heavily reliant on the basic materials sector, such as petrochemicals, rail plans are focused on creating a seamless logistics network for basic commodities. The first phase in the UAE plans to connect the Shah gas field to the processing facilities in the southwest region of Abu Dhabi, able to transport 10,000 tons of granulated sulfur. But even for a region accustomed to delivering mega projects, there are a number of challenges.
Well, there are technical challenges. It's a very tough environment to build a railway because of the heat and the sand. But we've got the best experts and the best people. So that's a challenge. And the timescales are a challenge because obviously there's a desire to see this done very quickly. But funding is vital for any project. And what's important is we have the right balance between the public sector involvement, the private sector involvement, the incentives are right, and the risk and the reward is right.
As rail is not a standalone commercial project, there needs to be clear strategic, economic, environmental and social benefits. And by the sounds of it, the UAE and the region are alive to the possibilities of rail. The past years have been all about tarmac, but the future is back to the tracks. June Wrigley, City 7 Business.
Meanwhile, Bloomberg has quoted Dubai's RTA officials as saying that the completion of the Emirates tramway system has been delayed by 2 years to 2014 due to the recession. Dubai has cancelled or is in the process of cancelling nearly 500 real estate projects following a decline in demand in the wake of the economic downturn. This is out of a total of almost 1,000 registered projects with RERA. These figures were revealed in a bond prospectus on the London Stock Exchange, as quoted by Bloomberg. On Monday, Dubai announced that it would launch a benchmark dollar bond mandating Deutsche Bank, HSBC and Standard Chartered Bank as joint lead managers. The Emirates government says it has cut spending by 14% to reduce the budget deficit and will continue heavy investment in infrastructure. Training of cleaning staff is the key to achieving higher hygiene standards. This was one of the main issues discussed at the Middle East Cleaning Exhibition held in Dubai over the last 3 days. Senior industry experts discussed issues including hygiene in retail food, decontamination in healthcare, hospitality and high-traffic areas. Experts believe better education and an increase in external audits are vital to the industry.
What is now happening in the UAE, in the healthcare sector particularly, is looking at accreditation. So this is looking at quality standards that can be implemented. So organizations like Joint Commission International, for example, from the United States, are bringing a framework program into the hospitals in the UAE, which provide them with the guidelines, the consulting, the auditing tools that enable them to come up to a very state-of-the-art level of infection prevention, as well as management across the whole hospital environment. Training is a cornerstone, but it's not just a matter of giving it. We have to train them and give them the reasons why their activities are so important. And of course we have to pay them for that service. They're not just a low-level cleaner, they're now a technician who are providing safety.
Now, everybody likes a good bargain. This week, Low Cost Dubai has a couple of deals that will be in the interest in ladies in particular. To discuss this, we're now joined by the company's co-founder and director, Ainsley Duncombe. Ainsley, welcome back to the show.
Hey, good to be here as always. Thank you.
Now, the Dubai Outlet Mall is an especially good place for bargain hunters, but you've got an even better deal for them. Tell us about it.
This is a great one. Every Monday is Half Price Monday at the Dubai Outlet Mall. Absolutely fantastic. 50% and more discounted from the original price. So Mondays is the day to get to the outlet mall.
My goodness, a whole 50%, that's incredible.
And more, 50% and more.
So and also, tell us about this ladies deal. We're very excited about that.
This is another great one. This is Tuesdays for ladies, 40% or more off from Wafi of any of the 3 different restaurants, Persia, Mai, and also Mezzo restaurant. Really, really good. Well worth getting down there. 2 ladies or more for up to 40% off.
Incredible. We'll definitely be going down to check that one out, definitely.
Well worth it.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks.
Thanks.
Most of the GCC markets ended in negative territory today. Let's check in on those numbers now, starting off with the UAE general indexes. Coming up now, let's take a look at the major international currencies against the dirham, followed by the price of oil and the precious metals. On the way after the break, we speak to David Yates, Head of Commercial IP and Technology at Al Tamimi, to discuss the state of local IP laws.